Welcome back to the Box of Lights game channel. We're playing Snowdonia, the board game. So we're about to start playing, but what I want to do before we get cracking is I want to give you a view of what the end game is, because we want to know where we want to get to and work our way backwards to figure out how we're going to play this game. Our aim is to complete this railway line up to the summit of Mount Snowdon. Okay, so if we don't complete that, but we run out of these, then the game ends, because we can't build any more stuff, right? If we reach the top and we've completed the railway, then the game ends. So how do we lay track all the way up to the final station here? Well, the answer is we've got to clear this rubble off, and then we can lay the track, alright? But we have to start at the bottom of the mountain. And at the bottom of the mountain is our first piece of track with rubble on it. So when you take an action to lay a piece of track, you're going to lay a piece of track on the track card lowest down the mountain that's been fully excavated. All right, and once you've excavated, laid the track, you can move your way up. Make sense? Now we know how to excavate our way up the mountain by removing this rubble using the excavate action, action B here. The next question is, well, once we've completed that excavation, how do we lay the track? Well, the answer is, once you've excavated and you've got this track, we need these iron bars to build the track. Okay, and you only need one of these bars to turn over one of these excavated sites and have the track laid. And how do we get these iron bars? Well, we have to convert iron ore into iron bars. And iron ore we get from the stockyard. And there we've covered our first four action types. Action A is we can run off to the stockpile and grab some resources. Action B is we can excavate and remove rubble from track cards and stations. Action C is we can convert iron ore into steel bars, or in fact we can convert rubble, two rubbles, into stone. And action D is we can lay track. But why would we want stone? Well, this is the secret of the game, really. When you excavate and lay a track here, you're going to put one of your ownership markers down and you're going to gain 4 victory points. Remember, the aim of the game is not only to complete it, but to complete it with the most victory points. And the other way to gain victory points is to build stations, and we need stone to build on stations. Alright, so once we've got all the excavation done up to the station, then we can start building the station, or we can carry on excavating up the mountain. And this covers action E here, which is the build action. And when you're playing multiplayer, you can also take an action to build a train, get a new train. But playing solitaire, remember, we're just using one train. There's 2 more actions here, F and G. F is the site office, and G is move the surveyor. Let's have a quick look at what F does. If you place an action token here, well, that's when we come back and look at these contracts. And during the solitaire game, if you take this action, you can grab one of these 3 cards, and all the other cards at the end of each round will get discarded, and we get another 3 come out. Alright, so it's a little bit different when you're playing multiplayer, because these cards go and everything kind of shuffles down and moves around like this. But in solitaire game, you just clear this off. Alright, so once a round, you've got to check to see if there's anything here that you really want, and if there is, you might want to take this site office action to go grab it and get its bonuses and victory points. And G, well, this was moved surveyor. Remember, our surveyor here sitting at the first station, Clamberis, and what his role is to survey his way up the mountain, and you're going to get more victory points the further up the mountain he goes. So it's kind of an action that doesn't achieve anything in terms of building the track, but it does give you victory points getting up there. Well, I think that's enough for you guys to take in right now. Let's start playing and let's see some of this stuff in action. And I mean, there's lots of little bits and bobs that we need to learn along the way. So let's play and learn as we play. First phase of a round is assigning our labourers. before I do that, I'm going to take a special action with my train, and it says here, if I return 1 coal from my supply to the bag, then I can go and grab myself a temporary worker from the pub. So we're going to hoik him out, put down your pint and your ploughmans, and follow me. Now we have 3 labourers to use on this turn, and I spend this coal. That goes back in the bag, and we can take our 3 workers now and place them on one of these actions. If you're playing multiplayer, then first player, the one who's holding the wooden black train, gets to place an action pawn first. Then they each take turn, then you play your second, everyone takes turn, and then you play your third if you have it. Alright, so when you're playing solitaire, it's just a case of choosing our 2, or in this case 3 actions. Now, one thing I do know is that there's a chance that we have to maintain our train, so I'm going to go and grab some ore, but while it's sunny, I'm going to take a chance, and I'm going to take 2 actions to excavate. Now we've laid all our actions down, we have to resolve them, and we start from the left this way. So we're going to start by resolving this one. We run off to the stockyard and grab 3 cubes. Now we can take a mixture of 3 iron or stone, or just 2 iron or stone and 1 coal. So I'm going to take 3 of these and place those in my personal supply. So that's that one done. Now I can resolve the excavation actions. And when I'm excavating, there's a couple of places I need to check. I need to check the work rate, and I need to check my train for bonuses. And potentially, if I had any of these contracts, they might give me bonuses too. But at the moment, it's this one and this one. So the work rate here with the shovel is 2. And my train gives me a +2 bonus. So that's 4. So with my 4, I get to remove 4 pieces of rubble in 1 action. And these go to my personal supply. Remember, I had 2 excavate actions, so with my second action I'll remove 4 more. So let's take 1 from here and then 3 from here. And once more they go into my player area. This is where you've got to be a little bit careful when you're playing multiplayer, because you know, if you remove so much rubble that the next player could come along and then potentially move the last piece of rubble from this spot here on the station, then whoever removes the last piece of rubble from an excavation site like this will get the victory point. They'll put one of their ownership tokens down in this spot and gain themselves, in this case, 4 victory points. Obviously when you're playing solo, that's not a problem, but you know, you can see how playing multiplayer then becomes a very different game, because you've got to think about what other players are doing, and you know, should you be really excavating this far? Right, you are for the common cause, but remember, you want to be the person taking the last block from each of these spots, not somebody else. The next step of a round is to restock the contract cards. Now notice I didn't take any of these, and these are going to be worth big points at the end of the game, right? This one's worth 40 points. If you get ownership of 5 tracks, you'll get this 40-point bonus, for example, right? So look out for these. This is how you're going to win the game, getting these big contracts. Okay. What would normally happen is this would shuffle down and we draw another one in here, but in a solo game, what you're going to do is you're just going to pack all these up. We're going to lose them all, and then we're going to draw 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Next phase of the round is the weather phase, and what we're going to do now is we're going to shuffle these up. What that means is for the upcoming round, the weather is now going to be sunny. This is one with the exclamation mark, right? So we've got a sunny round coming up. Remember, this was the weather forecast, so that's why things are moving up. And now what we need to do is we've got an empty spot here, and what do we fill it with? We fill it with the weather token that's represented here on the top card of this contract deck. So here it's a grey one, and that means we need to place this one here. That's fog. What that means is we know next round coming is sunny, the round after that is sunny, and then we've got a nasty bit of fog. And then lastly, we have to look at this chart here, and we have to adjust our work rate markers according to the current weather. So it's sunny, so for track building is going to go up 1, and excavation is going to go up 2. So this one moves up 2 spots, 1, 2. This one moves up 1. So now you can see how our work rate has gone up because of the weather. And that's effectively the weather resolved. So this one goes back to the supply. The last phase of a round is restocking the stockpile. So we're going to do that now. Down at the bottom left of the stockpile is a handy little chart that tells you exactly how many cubes you need to pull to restock the stockyard. And it says for 1 or 2 players we need to pull out 6 cubes from the bag for the stockpile. So let's see what we get. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we get 3 iron ore, 1 stone and 1 coal and 1 event, and I'll show you what this does in a bit. For now these are going back in their respective stockpiles. This one will go here on the first spot of the event track, and we have to resolve this event immediately. It's an excavation event. And this event tells us we need to start removing rubble, and this is where the game starts making things happen. So this event says we need to use the current work rate, remember that's just gone up because of the sunny weather, and remove that number of rubble from our cards, which we can see is 4. And that's not too bad actually, that works out quite well. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to be quite inexpensive for us now to claim those victory points. Okay, the important point here is we didn't claim these. Yeah, the game did. So these go back to the supply. And this white cube, well, this stays here. So the next time an event comes out, it's going to be this event instead. And that's it. We've completed the first round of Snowdonia. We should have taken our action pawns back. And this temporary worker goes back to the pub. Join me next time then, and we'll pick up from round 2.